Welcome to another edition of the Clean Cooking Podcast, where kitchen sparks global conversations. Right here, we explore how energy, innovation, and people come together to shape a cleaner and a healthier future. Now, across Africa, millions of households still rely on traditional fuels for cooking, impacting health, livelihoods, and the environment. But within this challenge lies a powerful opportunity, one that is being driven by women. Today's episode focuses on a critical question: what happens when women are not just part of the clean cooking conversation, but are leading it? Now, from unlocking investment to shaping policy and driving innovation across the value chain, women are emerging as central to the future of clean cooking and energy access. Now, joining us is Brenda Ataga, a seasoned commercial and operations executive with over 2 decades of experience across Africa's energy sector. From leading national LPG expansion programs to structuring large-scale energy investments, she brings a unique perspective on how we can move from ambition to real scalable impact. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, Brenda will be in the studio with us this lovely and beautiful day in the city of Abuja. Brenda has been gracious enough to allow us into a lovely kitchen. We have turned our kitchen into our studio, and we, are looking forward to having an amazing time on the Clean Cooking Podcast today. I am Olorin Tobi Adejare, and this is the Clean Cooking Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Clean Cooking Podcast. I am Olorin Tobi Adejare. On today's episode, we're going to be looking at women powering the clean cooking transition, opportunities, investment, and leadership. And our guest, who has been gracious enough to accommodate us in our wonderful and most beautiful kitchen today, is Brenda Ataga. Now, Brenda is a highly accomplished commercial and operations executive with over 20 years of leadership experience across Africa's energy sector, spanning oil, gas, and clean energy. She is widely recognized for driving large-scale policy reforms, structuring complex financing solutions, and leading transformational energy initiatives that align public sector priorities with private sector growth. She has held senior advisory roles within Nigeria's Ministry of Petroleum Resources, where she advised the Honorable Ministers for 7 years. In this capacity, she led national programs which include the flagship domestic LPG expansion program, DLPG, creating a micro-distribution model practiced commercially today. She also led the compressed natural gas CNG adoption strategy, being the first team to convert public transport vehicles to CNG. Brenda has been instrumental in shaping Nigeria's gas-led industrialization agenda, co-authoring key policies and spearheading institutional reforms that unlocked billions in infrastructure investment and improved sector efficiency. A seasoned deal maker, she has structured and mobilized over $1 billion in financing across syndicated and blended capital frameworks, while also managing multi-billion-dollar trading portfolios at leading firms such as Wando and Cornell. Her expertise spans commercial strategy, energy transition planning, commodity trading, and cross-border logistics. Currently serving as principal partner at BOA Advisory Energy Services, She advises government and private sector stakeholders on energy investment, policy design, and infrastructure development. Brenda is also an active thought leader and speaker on energy transition, sustainable finance, and African energy markets. She holds degrees in business management and international business law alongside executive training from MIT and certifications in sustainable finance and oil trading. It's a pleasure to have you, Brenda.
Thank you. That was quite long.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that all of that was me.
Yes, it's you. Women doing great things in Nigeria.
It's important, and I'm glad to be seen as one of those women. Thank you.
All right, so now to start off, how would you describe the current state of clean cooking access in Africa and why it is such an important issue for development?
I would say let's look at the indices in Africa first of all. IEA says that 4 in 5 homes in Africa today still rely on biomass fuels to cook. Whereas with the World Bank data that came out last year in 2025, World Bank states 14 million Africans fall behind annually in terms of converting into clean cooking. And in clean cooking in this regard, we're not specifically talking about LPG, we're also looking at electricity as one of the clean sources. So just lumped together, you'd see that number, 14 million Africans annually, is compounded. It means that year on year, you're going to double that number. That will give you the total number of Africans that fall behind. And then let's bring you home to Nigeria. When I joined the government in 2016, our utilization rate and expansion rate at that time was, I believe, between 16 to 18%. And in 2025, data available to us is 27%. What does that mean? It means that we've only literally grown our clean cooking space. In Nigeria, we know clean cooking is mostly LPG by about 1.2% annually. That is so poor. So abysmally, just looking at everything together, you'd say that Africa's population Nigeria's population is outpacing clean cooking growth, which is quite indicative, and it should call for a red flag. We're growing in terms of numbers. When we started the adoption program in 2016, I believe our population was about 185 million, and we even projected at 205. And 10 years later, we're at 207, and we haven't even done.
That isn't much progress, if we're going to say.
No, not at all. Data doesn't lie, so I'm quite glad that we have this data available to us. But what does it mean for Africa? Clean cooking is at the midpoint of three very, very key issues that relate to, one, public health. We have 800,000 people who die annually from indoor air pollution, mostly women. So women are at a disadvantage from, the issues around clean cooking. In addition to that, we fail to realize as a continent that, and even as a nation. So let me go back to the indices for public health. At 800,000 deaths pan the continent, Nigeria alone is 200,000 out of that.
200,000?
Yes.
That's the latest data?
That's the latest data from indoor air pollution. So it really just shows where, we have a sitting bomb when it comes to women's public health. We need to look at what's the real danger in this. The emissions from firewood, from biomass fuels, are fine particulate matter, and it's called PM 2.5. It's the same sort of emissions that you get when you smoke a cigarette. So even though women who are dying from indoor air pollution are more at risk with direct contact, direct inhalation of these fumes, but imagine when the fumes dissipate into the environment, you also have public health issue where you see so many people now, there are cases of lung cancer. It's just from what we're inhaling. Generally in our communities, you live in a community where there's such a high rate of cooking with biomass fuel, you are at risk. Even though you're not directly cooking, you are at risk of, getting one of the health implications from the fine particulate matter, PM 2.5. In addition to that, you'd see that one of the key issues that we need to tackle with clean cooking is also just understanding that women are at a disadvantage, because women have to provide this source of energy themselves. They have to lodge the wood themselves. They have to find the wood, especially where there's a lot of urban migration now. There's rural to urban migration. It's not easy. There's no forest right behind your house. So these people who are used to just going behind their house
to get firewood,
now have to
travel long distance.
And let's use the word trek.
They're not going in. They shouldn't sugarcoat it.
No, they're not going in transportation. They literally are trekking. And I have observed that even in this city where we are, where women are, and children in this case are not just girls. Boys and girls, little boys and girls, as long as you belong to that family who's using biomass fuel, it's part of your duty to go find firewood. What does that do to kids? It's time out of school. Education is lagging. For women, it's productive time being used to find firewood, which, can easily be replaced with clean energy and LPG when we bring it home to Nigeria. A third issue here in our clean cooking space is the impact on the environment. We look at the environment, and there's so much in Nigeria. We have deforestation going on in the north. We have soil erosion going on in the south. That happens when there's unchecked use of firewood to consistently cook, but provide hospitality for families, provide hospitality for businesses. There's just indiscriminate use of firewood to do that. Not just to provide hospitality, we find that there are even businesses who are exporting charcoal today, and that's because there's no regulation around falling trees. So these are key issues, that public health issues, they're public issues, not just for women and children, but also for the society at large. Women and children, you could put them in one context where productivity is lagging, but for the society, there's your public health issue.
There's also the environmental issue.
Also the environmental issue. But I tell you one thing that we fail to realize, when we talk about clean cooking, LPG remains at the center of it. And that is because access to energy, access to electricity is so little. So there's a push for solar, but we also need to have that same push for LPG also, because not everyone has access to electricity like you have in some other societies. We look at Nigeria as a special case. Electricity is not available in many of the villages, even villages here. Yesterday I was at
places that are not villages. Right here in Abuja.
I was about to say,
there are people who say that somewhere even around Lugbe and some places in Kubwa, they haven't had electricity in weeks, months.
They have no power connected to them. This is not weeks, month, like, oh, I took your power out. They just don't have electricity. I saw it for myself yesterday.
In 2026?
In 2026, in this city, in the middle of the city, in a rapidly developing central city, there's still zero access to electricity. But what are the options for those sorts of families? So it's either biomass, where you can ignite your fuel yourself, or LPG. And that is the truth of it. And that's why LPG or clean cooking today should be at the crux of every government policy. It has to be center, it has to be, a primary discussion today.
My name is Otome Afigba, Executive Director, Nest Gas Producing Limited, and a strategic advisor on gas development projects. Keep listening to Clean Cooking Radio.
All right, now, so beyond health benefits on the environment, there's a growing conversation around the economic opportunities within the clean cooking sector. Now, what kind of opportunities exist for women across the value chain?
So we find that the value chain is vast, and the LPG value chain really does start from the midstream sector. But we're looking at big ticket investments when we look at that, and it doesn't stop women who have been in the business from also advancing those causes in those segments. So the first one we would say would be, just even providing gas at, a sellable level.
Okay.
Not gas in the ground, gas that's being processed and making it available to the market. The availability of the gas is the first opportunity. Would the government then say to women, their specific portion, we're supporting women, female investors in this segment to go ahead, provide gas for the market. Availability is key. So without gas in the midstream, you wouldn't have gas in the downstream. You wouldn't have gas in distribution. There will be no gas for you to provide to your resellers.
To the last mile level.
I haven't even gotten to the last mile level. Your resellers will be bulk terminal owners. Your resellers will be refilling units before you get to your last mile, which will be distributors, local distributors. So for women, there are opportunities all around this value chain. But let's not talk about the big ticket issues. Let's even look at the last mile. The last mile, and that's why I introduced the micro distribution center. At that time, it was such a buzz, it was such a big, and a few companies still are maintaining that strategic commercial framework. And the reason why we did that was to create cyclical economies in environments where women are situated. Because adoption cannot work without women. Adoption cannot work without women retaining the consumers, without women understanding who their consumers are and understanding the product. Women are the best salesmen or sales or marketing people for LPG. So in the last mile, you have the distribution bits where you can sell accessories, you can sell cylinders, you can sell stoves. In the last mile, you also have the opportunity to be an agent to sell actual gas into a family home. You have an opportunity today to also support family homes with their replenishment cycle. And that was the reason, one of the key reasons why we introduced the micro distribution. So you have your location close to family homes. You have your woman who is acting as an agent, who is ensuring she knows the consumers, she knows the usage patterns understanding the usage patterns is so inherent in a woman. She already knows that if one person buys 12 kg cylinder within 1 month, because they're 10 and she's making 3 meals, she can calculate that without anyone, better than any advanced
person,
theoretical consultation that we could provide. She can calculate based on local food made, based on the number of families, the type of children, because she knows those children in her society, in her community, and then she can sell gas into those families, retrieve cylinders, exchange cylinders, identify bad cylinders, educate the women in that community, and make a living for herself, and also support women who are doing other things, because LPG doesn't just stay. So the direct economies will be what I've just explained, but the indirect economies will be for women who are doing other things like agriculture, using LPG for their pumping machines to irrigate their farmlands. LPG as the energy source for those pumping machines. We also looked into that with Israel when they were going on with the whole rice farming and all that. It was part of the projects that we wanted to undertake and support women with LPG for pumping, creating irrigation at their fields. And these are just direct and indirect opportunities for women in LPG.
Okay, so you were talking about the micro distribution channel. Is this something that we have in the various regions in Nigeria?
I believe here in Abuja, there's a business, I can't remember the name, but I did see the business, their micro distribution kiosk in Wuye and in Lugbe. I visited that company myself. I can't recall the names of the companies now.
Okay.
And I saw their micro distribution centers. So it was easy. Have a central refilling location.
Okay.
Have agents with cylinders fill, and then distribute in their communities. It's easy for you to exchange and utilize gas at any time. So you don't have the lag where, my gas finished in the middle of the night, so I had to use kerosene for a short while, or my gas finished and I was at work, it was too far for me to travel, or now that fuel is expensive, I'm not going to drive my car or take transportation to go buy gas. That was the essence, to bring gas to make it accessible to people. Because at that time, we were looking at 4 thematic issues that needed to be resolved simultaneously. One was availability, I've spoken about. The second was accessibility, acceptability, and affordability. All of those things need to be done in almost a synchronized manner for LPG to be acceptable. But the women are the center of that. She's the one who says to you, I understand the benefits of this gas, the optimization that I will get from it. Therefore, I can explain that optimization to my counterparts in the community. The woman also then says, it's acceptable to me because it's safer, it's made my kitchen cleaner, I'm not coughing, my health is better, I've accepted it. She can narrate that story to her counterparts in the community. It's affordable because when I stack it beside what I'm buying on an ongoing basis, or for firewood that I don't find. Now we're talking about women in communities, barriers within the cities, they have to pay for their firewood. You can't just wake up and go and cut a tree from any house. Now, when you stack the prices, you find that LPG, because of the efficiency, is much cheaper than charcoal or firewood that you have to buy. So a woman can explain that to other women who are still using biomass fuels within the community. A woman that can then explain, how to get the best pricing advantage out of LPG. For a lot of these women, they just see things from a day-to-day perspective. And one of the reasons why we had the MDCs created was to enable women look beyond the day-to-day, stack your LPG in 12 kg and use it for a certain period of time, rather than I don't have money today, I can't buy the LPG tomorrow. It doesn't allow the transformation to be consistent. And without sustainability in LPG, your expansion plan will fail. And which is what we're finding out in Nigeria today.
Yes, you're right. All right, it's still the Clean Cooking Podcast, where kitchen sparks global conversation. We still have Brenda Ataga with us this beautiful and most wonderful day. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. We'll be looking at investment landscapes and also the role of partners in ensuring that the conversation around clean cooking moves from just growing from 1.2% in 10 years to us having a 10 to 15% growth in less than 5 years, and also future outlook. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's still the Clean Cooking Podcast.
I need to correct that. It's not 1.2% in 10 years. 1.2% annually every year.
Okay.
Within 10 years.
Okay.
So if you put that together, we haven't grown more than 10%.
In 10 years. So it's more like 10 for 10.
Yeah. Yes.
So we should be doing, say, 30 to 50 for 10.
How fast our population is growing? We're not growing at a rate that is
for a country of over 200 million people, we should be doing better.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back after this short break. Thank you, and don't go anywhere.
My name is Otome Afigba, Executive Director, Nest Gas Producing Limited, and a strategic advisor on gas development projects. Keep listening to Clean Cooking Radio.
Welcome back to the Clean Cooking Podcast, where kitchen sparks global conversation. Our meal is almost done. We're having boiled plantain and fish sauce. Something very healthy, light and healthy for our most gorgeous guest. All right, we've been looking at women powering clean cooking transition, the opportunities, the investment, and the leadership. Now we're looking at the investment landscape. Now, clean cooking solutions require financing to scale. From an investment perspective, where do you see the biggest opportunities right now for investors looking at the clean cooking sector? And what role can the private sector investment play in accelerating access?
So when we look at the clean cooking in Nigeria, and we need to then narrow this down to LPG, right? Because this is where we have the quickest access to clean cooking, not in electricity. We need investors to stop looking for a product that is going to be viable for them, because the clean cooking space today is quite fragmented. There's a mismatch between utilization and opportunity. That's it. We have the numbers, but as we do see, utilization is quite poor, because most of these people who are utilizing are beneath a certain income cadre. They're also beneath a certain education level, where a quick understanding on the benefits and the opportunities for clean cooking exist. So we need to focus on, and I would say to investors to focus on, will be for them to focus on building a system. You need to look at clean cooking, LPG space, from a system perspective. And you could take example from what we've already created, which is the micro distribution centers. Without a system that connects the dots, that makes participants be at the center of your investment, you will fail at deploying and really gaining some level of commercial viability from it, because your commercial viability will be eroded by lack of utilization at some point. We look at those who have done really well in the clean cooking space, not last mile, who are in the distribution space of it. NIPCO, for instance, they've built a system. They receive, they haul, they retail from their stations. It works. If you're going to look at this from a silo point of view without aggregating the compartment, your investment will not, be sustained long term. You may make some progress, but it will not be sustained long term. And there are businesses who I can also mention who have dropped off along the line because it becomes quite difficult for them to expand. And of course, we do know that in Nigeria, the barriers to entry into this market space are quite low. So there are 100 million people. If you're not creating and you're not being creative, you're not innovating the ideas around your LPG deployment, you would not sustain a commercially viable business for a very long time. That would be my take on how to look at it. LPG is a system-oriented, not product-oriented.
All right, so Gas 360 has this system that, that it has adopted, whereby, it's not just about, providing the product. Gas 360 is making sure that at least 10 homes have, a retailer around them.
Fantastic.
And we're also making sure that it's mostly women-led, even if it's the husband that has the funds, the wife, the sister, the daughter also has to be a partner in that business. So we're very particular about, having women. At least we have about 3 to 5 female retailers on our Gaspreneur program. And now something that we're also doing is that we are ensuring that every mile is covered. So we're in the process now of converting those women who are still selling the charcoal and firewood, because by the time we did the statistics, we went around, we realized that what they're even making from firewood and charcoal is next to nothing. So
absolutely,
we are converting those of them selling firewood and charcoal to selling LPG. Now this is something that needs a lot of funding, a lot of backing. Gas 360 has started it. Now, how do you think government can come in to support initiatives like this that Gas 360 is doing, and probably other organizations who also want to get into the LPG space to make things better?
So I always say the role of government is to create an enabling business environment for private sector-led initiatives. And we've seen in the past where government was involved in commodity business, it always failed. So I would say that the government continues. We started the drive for gas revolution in 2015 with Dr. Kachuku. We need to continue to refresh our policies and make them fit for purpose. Now we're in a world that is going to be driven by AI. I'm yet to hear the government come up with an LPG policy that's, in sync with that future. The policies we're riding on today are 10 years old. It's already too old. So the government needs to come up with fresh policies that look into, the future. There's a 2030 agenda for energy transition. LPG has to be on the cooking forefront. There's no two ways about it. It can't be electricity or solar based. What are these policies that are being rewritten right now with the future in mind, with AI solutions? We have so much fintech solutions today. You're converting people into becoming gaspreneurs. We saw that years ago, and I was saying to your managing director on how it just seems like we're churning out the same ideas, but those ideas need to be built on rather than being repeated. So on the government side, I would say that the government needs to focus on thinking about policies that really shape this space and make it fit for purpose in the next 10 years in an AI-driven world. On the private sector bit, I've already spoken about that. How you think about the business is very important. You guys are doing a great work. You're thinking about it the way it should be. It's a circular economy.
We're tracking the carbon credits.
And the first time I met your MD this was a conversation. It was about the smart meters to support tracking of utilization. It was about smart meters to support, and we were talking about this, 6 years ago or 7 years ago, smart meters, and guess what? It still hasn't been deployed. So government needs to support companies that are deploying initiatives that help the future, future utilization. How they choose to do that, I'm not going to speak about it here, but it's something that cannot be understated. It's not about, and LPG must go away from being an intervention product where we come to where we want to make development headlines. This is real life. And at the beginning of this conversation, I spoke about the public health crisis that's at our hands. We have the women and children on productivity.
As serious as, how you will treat malaria.
Yes, environmental impact, that's also a crisis today. So we need to stop looking at LPG as a development product that needs grants only, and until we get that grant, we're not going to do anything. Private sector needs to build the system. Government needs to come in with policies that enable systems that are forward thinking and enable them to propagate, make them sustainable. Otherwise, we wouldn't have much impact done. Remember, we've done 10 years, we've only done about 11 point something percent. We have another 10. We need to do more. We need to do more. We need to do more. We need to, just build on that foundation. In terms of financing, there's a mismatch. You cannot finance women who do not earn the way credit thinks about financing. So you have to create that all-encompassed system, or back to systems thinking, that supports that switch, that supports issuance of the infrastructure. And that's where government needs to sit down with private sector as well to think about how that will work.
All right, so in closing, if you could leave one message for young women who are interested in coming into the clean cooking sector, what would that be? We see, just like most of the sectors in Nigeria, it's still more, male-dominated. Women have to, work, say, 20 times harder to get into the sector. So what's your message for young women?
I would say do not be undeterred. Continue to prove that you are needed in this space and that the way you think is more superior because you understand the matter. So if you want to come into this space, stay focused, evaluate your environment properly, articulate the problems and the solutions. Be solutions minded, not just problems. Women need to move away from being the layer of problems, or provide the solution at every point in time. But overall, all-encompassing, be undeterred by the feedback, by the roadblocks you meet. It's in this environment, unfortunately, we haven't yet learned to give women their merits. So you need to take it. You need to take it. Be unapologetic about that. Taking your merit. Be unapologetic about what you think is right, what you think are the right solutions, and just keep going, be resilient. That's what I'd say.
All right, thank you so much, Brenda.
food
It's
is
been a
ready.
wonderful time. Food is ready. So we'll just have Brenda taste what we've done, what we've cooked together. We made it together. She gave me moral support, so yes. Can we get a plate? And Brenda will help us do the tasting of what our boiled plantain, our healthy boiled plantain and
Yum.
fish sauce.
I hope I don't finish everything.
Our boiled plantain and fish is ready.
Looks yum.
So now let's have Brenda taste.
Okay, I'm doing the honors.
We made sure it's very healthy for Brenda. Less salt, less seasoning.
Nice.
Do I get a pass mark?
Oh, this is good.
All right, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time on the Clean Cooking Podcast with Brenda Ataga. Now, women are not just beneficiaries of clean cooking solutions, they are innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders driving the transition towards cleaner, safer energy systems across Africa. Until I come your way again, I remain yours truly, Oloruntobi Adejare. And don't forget to always tune in to listen to the Clean Cooking Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter at Gas360Tech, on LinkedIn at Gas360. You can also listen live on our Clean Cooking Radio on radio.co. Once again, thank you so much, Brenda,
You're welcome.
for having the Clean Cooking crew in your wonderful and most beautiful kitchen this lovely afternoon.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Ah.
Thank you for this
I hope we can do this again.
healthy meal.
And when we come back, we'll be looking at a 50% improvement, say in the next 10 years, or maybe less.
Hopefully less.
Yeah. All right. So bye for now.